Hello, friends. Welcome to Coach to Coach. Today we have a special treat. One of my colleagues and past guests, Elaine Wright, had offered to reverse roles with me and let me be a guest on my own program. So, now I'm in the hot seat. I'm the one that has to answer these questions. So let's see how I do. Thanks for being here.
So welcome to the Coach to Coach program. And today's guest is Greg Fisher. Greg is a coach and an entrepreneur. He's the CPO, that's the Chief Potential Officer, at his business, Team Unleash Your Potential. Greg coaches athletes, leaders and managers to understand and leverage their state of mind to improve their performance and general well-being. And Greg and I are peers in Jamie Smart's Clarity Certification course, during which time Greg and I have enjoyed some very, very insightful, enlightening, dare I say, and deeply connected conversations. So thank you, Greg, for joining today. It's so nice to see you.
So nice to be here. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks for offering to do this. It's such a treat to be on the other side of the desk.
For a change, huh? Yeah. And so the way I'm going to start this is just asking you first question, and what first sparked your interest in coaching?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think about the first spark, not necessarily from coaching, but from a personal development and then working with people aspect was early in probably 2001 or two. I, by happenstance, came across Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and literally hadn't put the book down for like 20 years. And I think what it was, now that I know what I know now from doing these programs with you and Jamie, is what happened to me when I read that book is I just got bombarded with insights. I just, and so many things that I read in that book kind of rang true to me. And it excited me so much. I'm like, I have to bring this into my work. At the time, I was managing a small group of people. And I just basically incorporated that into every job I had since then. Every time I built a team or managed people, I would, coach them on the 7 habits, although at the time I wouldn't have called it coaching. But now when I look back, that's exactly kind of what I was doing. And then we fast forward to, February of 2021. And I saw Jamie was hosting a free masterclass on Facebook about, he was calling it coaching, obviously. And I thought, well, I'm getting into some leadership consulting work and stuff. I think a lot of this pertains to that kind of work. Little did I know that that free weekend masterclass would turn into me signing up for Thriving Coaches Blueprint, which turned into signing up for Clarity Coach Certification Training, which is now turning into me signing up for the advanced program for next year. And so it's, I think the spark is that excitement of seeing what a difference an insight can make in somebody's life. And that's my own life and the lives of other people that you touch as well. So,
yeah. And it's lovely to hear how just, albeit an insight which has no form or shape or size or anything else, can bring somebody to such a huge commitment.
Yeah.
You've been moving through the clarity work and the TCB and moving on to the advanced. Fabulous, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's been quite the year and a half.
Yeah, indeed. So tell us a bit about your business, Greg, and how you're working and who you're helping.
Sure. My business has a lot of different aspects to it. I do some online courses, and I build some no-code apps and things to help support people's businesses. But the primary focus of my business has been shifting, and more so lately, to coaching. And it started off coaching the people that I'm familiar with, which, having a 20-year career in business, was business leaders and managers. In particular, I started off focusing on new managers. Like I spent some time in my last job working with MBA co-op students, and I loved. It was like having a ball of clay show up at work, and I just got to mold them and help help them kind of learn about management and leading people and so on. I was trying to give them something beyond just what they would learn in a typical co-op placement. So I really like working with those people. I mean, most new managers, the way they became a manager is they were a very good performer as a sole contributor, and they've earned the right to become a manager. But like most companies, at least that I'm familiar with, they promote people to manager and they just kind of like throw them to the wolves. There's no
Yeah.
training or anything. It's kind of learn, baptism by fire sort of thing, right? Like learn as you go. And there's some pretty fundamental things that I've learned both from Covey's Seven Habits, but also from Jamie's books, Clarity and Results. Shameless plug over my shoulder here. That can really help people and save them, potentially years of grief and suffering, just by doing a few little things and looking at things a certain way. So those are the kind of people I like working with, and it's funny because some of the clients I've had too have been people that are stuck in their career and things like that. So I love helping people kind of get unstuck.
Yeah. Stuck seems to be a big word.
Yeah, yeah.
Fabulous. And can you share an example or some examples of how coaching has helped, or you, or a client, or your clients?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'll give you one of each if that's okay. Um, I mean, one of the things I've loved about being on Jamie's programs that I wasn't even aware it was on offer or part of the program has been the peer coaching. Like, that's how you and I came to get to know each other. And in the spring last year, when I was on Thriving Coaches Blueprint, my dad had just moved into a retirement home, and my mom had passed away February of 2020. So we were all adjusting to like our new realities of what life post, without my mom and my dad being in a retirement home. And my dad would phone me like literally multiple times a day. And I was finding myself getting frustrated with him. And then I was getting frustrated by the fact that I was frustrated because like one lady I worked very closely with, she lost her dad uh, probably 15, 20 years ago when she was, quite a bit younger. So, and I know like every time I get mad at my dad, I think of her and I think like she would kill to have her dad still around. And here I am complaining that my dad's phoning me or bothering me about something. So that would kind of spiral into being frustrated about being frustrated. So anyway, I was on a peer coaching with one of my peers on TCB, and I gave her my whole story and spiel and whatever, and she said something that is so simple, but she goes, "You're human, aren't you?" And I thought about it for a second. I said, "Oh, well, last time I checked, I was." Yeah. And she goes, "Well, it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel frustrated, and it's okay to feel frustrated with being frustrated. Like that's what human beings do." And even though I've been learning kind of the theoretical part about, our experiences coming from our thinking and all this stuff, it kind of just, I had that insight at that moment that, yeah, why am I making such a big deal out of these feelings? And it was like, I'm working so hard not to feel this way that I'm just binding myself up. I'm getting stuck there. There's that word again, but, so you can just be free to feel whatever you feel. And if you don't put any, power to it or focus on it and just let it pass by, then you'll fall out of it very quickly. So it's funny because immediately after that conversation, the following weeks, the same stuff was happening. I was just finding myself, not really caring, and it's not caring isn't probably the right word, but it wasn't getting to me like it was before. If I got frustrated, I just see it for what it was, um, it's funny. A lot of times it would turn into just giving myself a good chuckle, like going, "Oh, yeah, there I go again, making a big deal out of nothing." Um, and yeah, it's made a huge difference. Almost, I'd say I'm almost at the point now when I look at my phone and I see that it's my dad calling. I'm like excited to find out what's going on for him. Like what's he up to today? What kind of troubles he gotten himself in now?
Yeah. Dad.
Yeah. So that's one example of how it's helped me. And then for my clients, maybe I'll talk about one of my clients who was stuck in their career. So this actually was a lady that worked for me for a period of time, and I would say of all the people that have worked for me over the years, she's probably in the top of the list of um, what she's capable of doing. Like very very smart, very capable, a people person, like she checks all the boxes of a high achiever. And she'd kind of been stuck in this job for a number of years. And it was at a company where it was kind of like an easy job. Like it wasn't like working 60 hours a week or anything. It was kind of a 9 to 5. And that had a lot of advantages for her. She has kids and things, so she could kind of have a good work-life balance, but she wasn't really getting any fulfillment out of her work. But every time she thought about leaving, two things. One would be self-doubt about, like, am I good enough, and confidence issues. And then the other thing was like, do I really want to go somewhere where I'm going to have to work harder? Like it's kind of easy here. I can just mail it in and do just fine. Anyway, so we explored a lot of her thinking around those things, and it was unusual that I had such a previous relationship with this person that I knew firsthand what she's capable of. So I could kind of point her in that direction of her own capabilities and things. Anyway, long story short, she started applying for jobs, and a few months later, she'd found a job, been promoted to a higher position than she'd had previously. And the last time I talked to her, she's loving absolutely every part of it. So that's it's those success stories that just keep you motivated. And it was really not anything I did. I was just pointing her in the direction of her own
Yeah.
innate capabilities. So it was terrific to be a part of that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And if there's one thing that you want people to know, what would that be?
Um, I think I'm reminded of, I think it's Chip Chipman, which may have been Chip quoting Sid Banks. I'm not sure, but it was something to the effect of um, the feeling you're living in the moment is all you get. And for me, that points to living in the now, like being in the present moment. Jamie says we're built for reality, we're optimized for reality. And I find when I'm working with people or even struggling myself, I often ask myself the question of like, okay, where am I right now? And I don't mean location wise. I mean on the spectrum of past, present, future. Like where am I? Where's my head at? And quite often, well, I mean, without exception, probably, if I'm struggling one way or the other, I'm either in the past or I'm in the future. And I'm thinking about stuff that's already happened or stuff that I think might happen, and I'm just creating a reality around what Jamie calls la la land. I'm just and we all do it. I mean, it's as human as anything. But so just knowing that there's only right now. Like it's been so helpful for me to let go of things from my past. And when I start putting pressure on myself about how my business is performing or looking forward to the future and what I should or shouldn't be doing or achieving, and then I realize, like, hang on, where am I? Oh yeah, I'm in the future. That's not real, and I can fall out of it and back into the present. So, and in particular, the new work I'm doing, I'm starting to work with athletes, and for athletes in particular, when they're performing in those high pressure moments, the ones that perform and succeed in those moments are the ones that stay in the moment. They don't think about the paycheck or the fans or the coaches or the opponent. They're just playing the game and they're in the moment. So that's what I want people to take away. Just live in the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I remember our mentor, let's say Jamie Smart, I remember her telling us about talking of athletes.
Mm.
Was it Usain Bolt? And like it was the beginning of sort of the final 100 meters he was going to do.
Yeah.
And like he's, talking to the crowds and he's giving high fives and he's kind of messing about, and whatever he is. And like all the other guys are doing the sign of the cross and they're warming up or do whatever it is athletes do before a 100-meter sprint.
Yeah.
And apparently they'd asked him, they'd said, what's going on there? And I think it was Bolt himself. He said, if I do all of that stuff, I'm just thinking about something that might not happen in the future.
Yeah.
But like here, if I'm just with the guys and with the crowd, enjoying myself, it's going to be so much better. And, I think I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
And
story.
Greg,
I think he said, yeah, that he runs faster when he's not thinking.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And Greg, are you? I get it. You're an athlete yourself.
Yeah. Well, I still play men's league hockey on Wednesday
Hmm.
nights. I'm going to be 50 this year, so it's funny because I remember when I was a teenager, I was hanging out at my buddy's house, and his dad came down in the basement and grabbed his hockey gear and was leaving the house, and I was kind of taken aback that his dad was still a hockey player because my dad wasn't an athlete at all, and uh, and that really somehow that stuck with me my whole life. That I thought, like, I want to be that kind of, for lack of a better word, cool dad that still plays sports and stuff. So I mean, I'd say from the time I hit 30 till now, my skill and so on has been steadily declining, but my enjoyment of the game is still there. I love golf. I love hockey. I love playing soccer, basketball, and
Yeah,
stuff with my kids. So yeah,
yeah,
sports has been a big part of my life. I love
yeah,
watching sports.
yeah. So for for sure, you've had a long experience, with for yourself, with how the mind affects performance.
Yeah,
I'd say,
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, no matter whether you're at a low level like house league sporting event or at the most elite level, like it's all the same. I mean, the competition is different and so on, but in that moment, you're just a human being playing a game. So it works the same for everybody.
Fabulous. So if people want to talk to you, if they want to, find out more about you and get in touch with you, how could they do that?
Yeah, the best way, I have two websites, coachingplease.com and teamuyp.com. And I'm also on social media on Facebook and LinkedIn, both as Greg Fisher and as Team Unleash Your Potential. So, um, most days I'm posting something. So, you know, I'm
Yeah.
pretty easy to find. And if
Yeah.
you go to my site, you can book a free conversation with me, and I'd love to know what's going on for people and see if I can support them.
Great. Sounds like you've got a lot of open doors there, Greg.
Yeah,
Just waiting for people to step in.
that's right.
Fabulous.
Everyone's welcome. Yeah.
And thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Greg.
Yeah, the pleasure's all mine. Thanks, Elaine.
Yeah. See you soon.
See you next time.